Well, you know, the thing is that nobody's actually traveling now. All the musicians are pretty much not traveling, not playing very many gigs, but there's a lot of cats that have figured some stuff out. In the first hour, you know, we had all those great a cappella app videos that everybody did, but some people are actually bringing it into the live environment and are sharing Louis Armstrong's philosophy about the importance of documentation and stuff. And we have a good friend of the Armstrong House in London, and I'd love it if we could bring him in to talk for a minute.
Oh, it's always a pleasure being with the great Enrico Tomasso.
Hey!
Hello, everyone. Yeah,
Hey.
hello from London.
Greetings to London. Wonderful to see you, Enrico.
And you two guys. Great to see you.
Man, we were just having a discussion about Louis Armstrong's use of the reel-to-reel tape and the similarities with his philosophy about documentation and what all of us are going through now that none of us are playing gigs.
That's right. Sure, yeah.
And you have you've been doing something really cool using the Facebook platform. So when did you start using accompaniment?
I just thought it's obviously going to get a little bit, well, it's going to get tedious just listen to the trumpet all on its own. I mean, it's fine for one or two things, but it would be much more fun for the listeners, I think, and for me playing, to try and get some backing. So I went through the big process of asking someone to each week if they'd do some backing tracks, some accompaniments, and I started just going through all my friends around everywhere, actually, not only in England, someone in Italy, someone in Portland, which is Andrew Oliver.
Yeah.
Luca Filastro in Rome, he sort of did one for me, and it's built from there. So I send them the set format of intros, choruses, and how we're going to do it, and then I play it and play over the top of them live.
Sweet.
And it's been a huge technological learning curve, of course, for all of us musicians that are doing this. It's
Rico, you can
got
relate
to
to
learn
that, right?
these other trades.
Without a doubt. I just want to say, for the people who don't know, there's so many musicians, you know, since the beginning of the 20th century who've been influenced by Louis Armstrong. Our guest, Enrico Tomasso, is one of the only ones who you could say was personally blessed by Louis Armstrong. And for those who don't know your story, Rico, can you quickly tell us about the airport in June of 1968 and the encounter that changed your life?
I sure can, yeah. It was basically, as a 7-year-old, I started playing when I was 5 by listening to a record of Louis, and I just said to my dad, I want to play the trumpet, Dad, like Louis. And he says, right, okay, I'll get your trumpet, get your teacher. 2 years later, as it would happen, Louis was booked to play at a big club in the north of England called the Batley Variety Club, and he was flown over especially for this one, not to do a tour and to drop in on a few nights on tour, but to do 2 weeks exclusively for this big club. And when we knew that, it was down the road from where I lived in the north of England. So my dad says, come on, son, let's go and meet him from the airport. And as Louis came down the steps of the aircraft, I played Basin Street Blues for him. And I've got a tiny bit of video came up recently, a film that someone sent me, and it's Louis sort of stops and takes a sort of like, hang on, what's this? What you can hear? And he looks down, and there's me playing Basin Street Blues, and he stops everything and listens. And I've got all the photos that document it. And he basically listens and gives me time till I finished. And when I finished, he held his hand out, which I thought he was going to shake my hand. And I thought, oh, I'm grown up, I know what this is about. Held my hand out, and he took my hand and kissed my hand, which was such it was
That's amazing.
just,
That's so
it's
wonderful.
just the magnanimous Louis
The
Armstrong
band was behind him?
taking time just to. No, they weren't. They came on a separate flight. It was just him and Lucille.
That's
And
fabulous.
so he took the time, took me into the press room, and kept me there all the time through the questioning, and wanted me to be included, and kept talking to me. What horn you got there, man? You know, you get a great tone out of that. I'm gonna get my guys to get one of their horns and things like this. And he invited me for the 2 weeks of his stint at Batley. Every night, just about every night, I went down and knocked on his door before he went on. And I'd open the door. How's my little trumpet player? Come on in, yeah. And so I had the wonderful fortune of Louis Armstrong give me advice every night about what to do to play. He says, learn the melodies before you go improvising on the tunes, because that's what you need to do, and you've got a good sound, so develop that sound, practice your long notes, and of course in the sort of philosophy of life, he said, and remember, don't marry no woman who don't dig your horn.
Great.
Horn, of course, Louis always called this the horn. And,
Great.
so that was my, for a little kid who wanted to be a jazz trumpet player, you don't get a better start than that in life, you know.
Ricky, Enrico actually prepared a little music for us from especially for Armstrong House Museum.
Fantastic.
He's got Skip the Gutter for us.
Ooh, great choice.
So let's get that rolling here.
Hello everybody, I'd like to play a number for you called Skip the Gutter, which was recorded by Louis Armstrong back in 1928 with his Hot Five, and Earl Hines was at the piano, recorded at the same time as the West End Blues, and I'm lucky to have the accompaniment of Andrew Oliver at the piano. One, two, 1, 2, 3.
Awesome, Enrico. Absolutely
Beautiful.
incredible.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, man. Louis, he's definitely smiling. That's for sure. Knowing that you took those lessons in 1968 and what you've done with it is just miraculous. One thing we've been doing at the Armstrong House to kind of combat this crazy new world, we started a website called That's My Home, and we're spending a lot of time using our archives, the digitized archives,
Sure.
and we're putting up Louis's scrapbooks, his tapes, and you're in there.
I do.
He took.
In fact, Ricky, just hold it there. In this drawer, I was just going through my letters from Louis today, and I want to show you this one. It's he sent me a letter. I wrote to him after I met him, and he sent me a letter back, which I've posted before. He also sent a letter to my father, which is a really a good letter about. He's mentioning he's worried about the musicians in the States at the time because there was a musicians' union strike, and he was taking the worry on board of musicians not being able to feed their families. So very concerned about who's that. Anyway, a year later we heard he was in hospital, 1969, and we sent him a tape to get him to feel better, and that's what you're talking about.
Yes, I am.
They're still in the archives, and it was done in our front room with a tape recorder. So that was myself, my brother, my sister, my father, and we all played. We did about 20 minutes worth of music and sent it to him, and this is the letter he sent back. Of course, Louis, he would not accept something like that without replying. What a great man he was.
Right.
He's in hospital and he's ill. He still took the time to send this letter. August the 14th, 1969. Dear Ernie, Enrico, Peter, Sharon, and Tomasso, I'm writing to let you know that I received the tape with all of those beautiful sounds. They all were well recorded and everybody did wonderful. And I enjoy every tune very much. Keep up the good work, because there's a great future for you. I am okay again, feeling fine. You are a lovely family. I'm very proud of you. Regards to everyone. From Satchmo, Louis Armstrong.
Oh, that's amazing. That's
Unbelievable.
That's fantastic, isn't it? And of course, it's on the back of his lose weight diet plan.
Diet chart.
Which is Louis Satchmo also at the bottom there. It's great.
Do we have your permission? I would love to play a few seconds of that tape, just so we could have the audience 51 years later hear young Rico play a few notes. Can we play that?
Of course you can, Ricky. Yeah, it'd be my pleasure. I'll cringe when I hear my own voice of the 7-year-old. But...
Hello, Louis. This is Enrico. I hope you're all getting better. And we are all praying for you. I hope you like our music. For you.
So there you have it, Rico. We just played a little clip. How old were you? 1969?
I was 7 years old. Actually, no, 8 years old then. That was a year after we met him. And, yeah.
Now, we're doing all this today as a way of also not just celebrating Louis's August 4th birthday, but also getting the word out about the Louis Armstrong House Museum, about the archives, about what we're doing. We've been closed since March 13th, but we're finding new ways to keep spreading Armstrong's story. If anyone out there is willing, we have a donate button. So all proceeds are going to the Louis Armstrong House Museum today to keep the online programming, keep the educational programming, keep the digital archives all going while we're off. And I just thought it would be great if you could tell. We're going to listen to some more music in a minute, but if you could tell the viewing public out there about your experience in August 2017 when you came by and took the tour of the house, and I showed you the archives. We played the trumpets and had a lot of fun. What did the Armstrong House and archives mean to you?
Well, it's something that I was it's been on my bucket list of things to do, right at the top for many years. And a lot of us here, musicians, we kept saying, "Oh, when we're going to go over and see the Louis Armstrong House?" Eventually, I got this opportunity and gave you a call, let you know, and you made sure that you were going to be in town. And you said, "Make it the Wednesday, and I can, be there to see, to give you the proper tour," which was fantastic. And I arrived there went in that basement room, and when Louis's music was being playing, and that was almost a religious experience, really. There came the first tears, really, just listening to one of Louis's great recordings and being in the house and feeling that feeling was undescribable, really, just very emotional. And then the excitement of it, and then I came out and met you, and you said, "Right, we'll go in the front door." And as I went in front door, the thing that I remembered mostly was automatically putting my trumpet case down in the hallway. And it's just a small little thing, but I suddenly realised Louis would have done that every time he came in. And I just, oh man, this is amazing. And then from then it was just pure joy, going around the house, going into the office where he would have, his little office, his little, den where he would have written all these letters. Here are all my originals, I've got all the originals. I've got all the original letters here,
Yep.
And he would have written them at that desk, and I just thought, there we are, it's full circle, I'm there. And it looked just like I imagined it, the whole house and everything. And then, of course, I had the added luxury of going to see the archives, and of course, Ricky, you opened up, you showed me the tape that we sent, and gave me a copy of that, which was fantastic. And of course, all the trumpets came out, and they were what an experience to play Louis's trumpets, really. And I remember each one of them, and they weren't all for me. The third one, late 50s one, was, I kept splitting on it. It wouldn't, I'd have probably got used to it, but not quite. And then that last one, I just, that was beautiful. And I imagine, I'm surmising here, but I imagine that, by that time, Louis was such an international star that when Selma says, "Oh, he wants another trumpet," I think they must have got all the great old masters at their craft to do the best bell, the best valve section, the veil, the best rolling, the best of everything. And it's just, what a magnificent instrument that was. And of course, it was Louis played it, and all the mouthpieces, of course, to look at all the mouthpieces, really interesting as well to see how he progressed and how he used the double cup later on to maybe just maybe help him a little bit in the registers, like we all sometimes look at, and which is, you can imagine later on, and the chops not always working every night. Your heart goes out, when you see these. It just brings that reality of what Louis would have been, the hard life he had through, and I know how hard it is to keep your chops on song every night, and for him to do it all the way through his career, just about, it's just, amazing. So
It
yeah,
is.
just one of the greatest experience for me in my recent years since I met him, really.
Well, we all know that your chops are still percolating, and I think it's a good time to hear another song. And as I mentioned, this whole digital initiative that we started once we
Yeah.
closed down because of COVID-19, we're calling it "That's My Home." And the
Yeah.
whole theme is, what did Louis Armstrong do at home? We're all stuck at home. How did he use tapes? When did he write letters? When did he
Yeah.
practice? All that kind of stuff. And so That's My Home is the name of the website, but it's also the name of, I think, one of Louis's greatest records, originally recorded in 32 with the Chick Webb Orchestra, remade for the musical autobiography in 56, another glorious version. But if you would be so kind, we would love to hear Enrico Tomasso play "That's My Home" on behalf of us at the Louis Armstrong House Museum.
It's one of my favorite Louis Armstrong songs, recordings, and it's such a pleasure to play it. I just get emotional when I play it anyway. So, yeah, here it comes.
Flowers never die, friends don't pass you by. Well, that's my home, where the folks say how did it do. They really mean it too, where Mammy's love is true. Well, that's my home, where I'm always welcome back, no matter where I roam, and just a little shack to me is home sweet home, where the streams and the rivers flow, the old shady pine trees grow. I need not say no more, well, that's my home.
Beautiful. Just beautiful. Thank you so much
Thanks.
for sharing that and for being a part of this special
Ricky,
event.
Ricky, it's been wonderful to actually spend some time with you. I've missed you. I really
Been
have.
too long.
Rico, we
No,
miss you.
and you, yeah, of course, Evan. I mean, we used to meet on the European festivals, didn't we?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
not for a while.
Well,
But
we
it'll
did
come back.
Yeah, we even did some of that John Kirby stuff together. that was a blast.
Yeah, man, that was good fun. Yeah, in Edinburgh. That was Edinburgh,
Yeah,
wasn't
I
it?
think those
Yeah,
were your
man.
charts. I think those are your transcriptions.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
great to hear you.
I-
Great to see you.
I'd like to say thank you for inviting me, guys. Fantastic job you're doing as well.
We'll see you on the
Let's
other
get it
side
out
of all
there.
this. Yeah.
Definitely, yeah.